Okay.
Don't you start this again.
You're not. No. Hello everybody, as you know, my name is Susie Tinkler and this is Coffee with Susie. This is my first video, and in the video I am going to be talking about trying to conceive, all the feelings and emotions that go alongside trying to conceive. Now this takes me back 20 years now. I was 22 years old when I first started to try to conceive. It was a long time ago, so I've had to sort of go right back into deep into a memory that I kind of buried for quite a long time. I think that when you're trying to conceive and it doesn't work, which is what happened with me, it's something that you don't kind of want to relive over and over again, because you kind of live it in the moment and it's not a great moment, it's not nice memories at all, as I'm sure all of you that are watching this video and can't conceive can relate to. So I'm going to take you back 20 years to when I was quite young, to be honest with you, and I still don't really feel that I had matured enough really to start trying for a baby. I'd been in a relationship for a couple of years by this point, and I felt ready to try to conceive, and I honestly felt it was going to just happen. I'd been on the pill for about 5 years by this point, and I really did think that it was just going to happen. I would come off the pill and the next month I would be pregnant. Unfortunately, as you all probably are aware, it doesn't work like that. Regardless as to how many people around you it seems to be happening that way for. And of probably 50% of the people that were trying at the same time as me, they all fell pregnant very quickly. The others slightly longer, but to this day they all have their own birth children. Some of them now are obviously in their late teens, including my nephew. So just to go back to the trying to conceive, I came off the pill, again as I said, thinking that it was going to be so easy and within a few months I would be brandishing a pregnancy kit with 2 pink lines, and it never happened. First few months I felt it was just going to take a little bit more time, because I've been told by several people the pill takes a long time to come out of your system sometimes. So I kind of clung on to that for quite a while. But as time went on, things started to change within my body. Unbeknownst to me, when I came off the pill, I developed something called ovarian cysts, and I didn't just develop one, I developed 4. Now, these ovarian cysts were causing me a lot of pain throughout the middle of the month, which was the ovulation time of the month, and one month I would feel it one side, the other month I would feel it the other side, and I almost felt, if I'm being honest, that my body was taking the mick out of me. I felt like, okay, so you're telling me you're ovulating, but you're not making me pregnant. And I felt completely useless. Along with this monthly pain was weight gain. So as I had been off the pill probably about 4 months by this point, and somebody who used to be a size 8 her whole life, I ballooned to a size 14. It seemed very rapid. I didn't know what was going on, and this ultimately led to a real depression in me. I felt fat, I felt ugly, and I felt a complete and utter disappointment and a failure as a woman. I do think that my partner was massively suffering too, but I just couldn't see it. I just felt that I was the problem, and I almost used to get angry with him when he used to say to me, "Don't worry, it will happen," or "I still love you," or "Don't worry, if it doesn't work, I will still love you, we can do other things to try to get pregnant." And I used to just get so angry. I used to think, you don't understand how I feel. And looking back on reflection, I didn't understand how he felt either, and he must have been beside himself. He must have felt useless because he couldn't help me. He couldn't take away any of the pain. He couldn't stop me putting on weight. He couldn't take away the ovulation pain from the cysts every month, and he couldn't make me pregnant. So all of these emotions were going on when I was trying to conceive, and I'm here to sort of say that it's all natural to feel that way. I felt so low at points that I would just cry constantly. Along with the pain of not conceiving, I would have comments about my weight, how big I was getting, how fat I was getting, which all contributed to the way that I felt, and ultimately the stress of trying to conceive. Now, when I was about sort of 4 or 5 months into not being able to conceive, and all these things were happening to me, I was getting my ovulation pain every month, and the cysts were really hurting me. I had actually been admitted to hospital once because of these cysts, because they did actually think it may be an ectopic pregnancy, because it was the pain was so localised to the side, as if it could be in the tubes. It was determined that no, it wasn't obviously an ectopic pregnancy, and it was the cysts. So with all that happening, I also started to develop something that I'd never read anything about when I'd been looking on all the websites that we go on and we look at of how to conceive, what best to eat, how much sleep to get, what best vitamins to take, how long you had to hold your legs in the air after you'd had sex, and there was nothing that was telling me about this particular thing that was happening to me. And basically every time about the middle of the month again, for 3 or 4 occasions throughout that time period, I would stand up on occasion and fluid would just pour out of me. It was like a clear fluid, but it was a lot, and I couldn't understand what it was. So for months I was trying to look up on Google, what could this be? What's wrong with me? I don't understand what this problem could be. Now, when I was looking up about this particular problem that I was having, I came to a part about tubal infertility, and I did quite a lot of investigation into that because I have scars. Now, there will be another video about this, because I feel that it's important that I talk about my reasons for my infertility, because they are quite unique, but at the time obviously I didn't know that. I just assumed that I couldn't have a baby because I was a complete failure as a woman. And ultimately, what's the point in being on this earth as a woman if you can't have a baby, right? That's how we all feel. That's our first feeling, I think. What is the point in me being here if I can't bring life into the world? And I had all those feelings. But When I discovered this tubal infertility, I started to really look into the reasons that can happen, and scar adhesions are one of the biggest reasons that the tubes aren't working properly. They become blocked very easily because the scar adhesions internally attach to the tubes, wrap around the tubes, and then the egg can't get through. So this is the point where I went to my doctors, because I kind of felt that this wasn't working. I had the cysts, which were a problem. They were causing me a lot of pain. I had this weird fluid that was draining out of me every month. The weight gain, which were attributed to the cysts, fortunately, and I did manage to lose that weight as I went through my mid-20s. But the doctor referred me straight away, which I thought might take a little longer because normally you have to be trying to conceive for up to a year. I'd been trying by this point about 9 months, but I think what he thought was, actually, you do need referring because I can see you have these scars, I can see that this could be a problem. So he referred me to a place called Grantham Hospital, which is where I'm from. Now, I am going to talk very minimal about the infertility, or the fertility, investigations that went ahead, but I do need to go into a lot more detail about where that led me to. So a very loosely spoken about, trying to get my words out, a very brief explanation or chat about the investigations that happened. First off, I was referred to Grantham Hospital. It took around 2 or 3 months to even get the referral through, which is fine. I had a series of blood tests to check hormone levels. I had an internal examination. Now, when I say to all the ladies who are hopefully watching this video that I felt that at that point my dignity went completely out of the window, I think you will resonate with that. I walked into this room in Grantham Hospital and there was a lovely nurse sat there, but there was also a doctor, and he was a big guy, really tall and burly guy, and I remember him chatting to me a little bit about my blood results, which were absolutely fine, and then we went into the room adjacent to his office to do an internal examination. I was already petrified when he said that, and got very hot and sweaty and blotchy, and we went into this room. I took my clothes off from my waist down. The nurse stayed in there with me, and I remember him putting his glove on, and he put 2 fingers inside, he wiggled them about a bit, looked at the nurse and said, "The womb is mobile." So I sat there absolutely mortified. A, I didn't know what the hell that meant. B, I had some random guy's fingers where I didn't want them. And C, I knew that I was in that place because I can't have a baby naturally. I can't do it. My body can't do it. So all of these emotions were just running around inside of me, but I just remember the pure embarrassment and shame of not being able to have a baby. So we got up, we went into the office, and we chatted a little bit about what the womb being mobile meant, and it was a good thing apparently. Although I didn't feel like it was a good thing, because if it was, I wouldn't have been sat there in the first place. So that's a very brief chat about what happened to me when I went to Grantham Hospital for the first couple of times. After that point, it was determined through my own investigations actually that a scan would be done to have a look at the tubes. And at that point I was actually really pleased, because I just knew there was something not right with them. So they organised this scan for me, and it took a few months to come through for the referral. And I went to Grantham Hospital and I met a lovely lady who was a gynaecologist, and she did the internal examination for me, which was a scan where they put dye up into the uterus and it went through into the tubes, and apparently if the dye comes back out through the tubes then they're clear, and if it doesn't then they're blocked. Nothing came out. And I remember just looking at her and I said, they're blocked, aren't they? And she said, I'm afraid so. But I had my reason. For all these months I'd just been going through loads of Google comments and reasoning why, and I'd been to Chinese herbal doctors and all of these things just to try to get pregnant, and ultimately it just wouldn't have happened. So I actually felt kind of happy that I had a reason for why I couldn't. It didn't take away the indignity of having to go and have internal investigations. It didn't take away the embarrassment. It didn't take away the complete and utter shame and disappointment in myself as a woman. And it also didn't take away the burden that I felt to my partner, because I felt, you could just go away and find a woman and have a baby. Why stick with me? What can I give you if I can't even give you a child of your own? So those are all the feelings that were in me. They stayed with me for many, many years, and all I'm trying to say is that's normal. It's completely normal, and it's a process. It's a process of grief. It's a process of going through all of those emotions and learning to deal with them in your own way. So the next video that I'm going to be doing with you will be talking about the further infertility or fertility investigations that I had. The point that I was actually told, you will never have children naturally, and where I went from that point. What I did was, I knew that all of these pills they wanted to give me, such as Clomid and things like that, weren't going to work because my tubes were blocked. Why would they work? So I wanted to go straight to an area of fertility or fertility testing that I knew would possibly have an outcome. So I'm going to talk very, very much in the next video about the further investigations I had, and also the IVF journey that I went on, which was a very, very difficult journey for me, but I really do feel that if I can help somebody who's about to go through it or been through it and going through it again, then that would be a really, really great thing. So I hope you'll join me for my second video, which will be over the weekend. If you have any questions for me about this video, then please get in touch. I will be happy to answer any questions at all. If you visit my Instagram page, then I'll be able to chat with you over Messenger if you want any questions answering at all, or just any help, or just want to chat in general. Anyway, I hope you have a lovely week, and I hope this video has helped slightly. Thank you for listening, and I will see you at the weekend. Thank you.